Hi, okay, so this is May 21st, 2026, and I'm filming because I just wanted to leave two quick reflections about uh, my day today. One's about beauty, and the other is uh, about personalities and talking, about my personality and how I approach conversations. But reflections aside for the moment, I'll get to that in a very short amount of time. I bought watches. And by watches, I mean plural. So I bought this one. This is a digital Casio watch with a leather strap. I really like it. It's a watch, nothing fancy. And I also bought this, which is a Timber Cruiser, which is also a Casio, but it's a vintage watch that was made to withstand 20 bars of pressure, which is like 200 or I believe 190 meters deep. Cool watch. And it also has the style that shows the weekday and the calendar date, which I thought was, honestly, I think it's great. I think it's incredibly fancy. But yeah, um, yeah, so that's enough about what I bought. The two reflections I want to share today, I'll start with the easier one first. The first one's about personality and how I approach conversations. I had a Team C session today. I no longer film Team C sessions because, well, I actually can't think of a reason that I stopped. But I mean, there could be several reasons, but I guess for the most part, it's because I forgot. And I also, I guess, feel a bit awkward about asking younger kids for permission to um, film their sessions. And I don't mean that in like, a weird sense. I just mean that in the sense that the culture in Korea, it's very difficult for younger people to say no to a senior or to an older person when they're asked something, especially when that something may seem small or minute. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if I ask them permission to film our sessions, they kind of are obliged to say yes. And I don't want them to feel pressured to say yes and feel a pressure to perform under the camera because that's not what I made that club for. But enough about Team C. So basically, well, not enough about it. It's actually exactly where this reflection comes from. I was in a Team C session today, and I kind of realized while I was talking, I don't know if it was today, it probably wasn't, but I don't really like um, the silence, or I guess you could say time in between. Time in between not time in between sessions, but time in between responses when people take the time to think. I have grown to appreciate it a lot more than I did before because I now understand that with more time, the response matures like fine wine. And so it becomes more profound, more meaningful, and contributes more to the discussion as a whole. I know that, but still, I think it's difficult for me to get used to, I guess, the awkward atmosphere that forms when a discussion comes to a pause. Maybe it's because I'm extroverted, or maybe it's because of a lack of patience, or both, which I think it's both. But I guess I have to kind of grow to learn to listen more, which is interesting because I thought I learned plenty about patience and listening when I was in Soul Station. But I guess there's a difference between forcing yourself to understand and be patient uh, in, I guess, semi-forced respect to the to the speaker and just waiting for a response in a casual discussion or communication or conversation. So the main point is I want to be more laid back and relaxed when I wait for responses and not be too agitated worrying about if this person feels awkward, if they want to speak or not, things like that. Which I guess, in a sense, I can make the excuse that it's because I want these um, students to feel like they are participating enough, and to do that, I want them to talk more and participate more. But the silence that when they're silent, I feel like the sessions come to a stop, and I feel like I guess somehow I'm responsible for that, and so I need to get people talking again, which also kind of goes against what I idealize Team C as, which is this relaxed community. So thinking about it again, it's probably more of a responsibility, a matter related to responsibility and trying to control and trying to control things. So as long as I don't try to make it performative, I think we should be fine. So that's reflection 1. Reflection 2 is about beauty. I recently bought this piece of art from, I guess, a friend, right? I'm not really that close to her. We take a couple of classes, but she drew this. This is Audrey Hepburn. So I think the reference image she used was Audrey Hepburn, but from what I see, it doesn't really look like, or I mean, it does resemble her in a sense, but I don't know. It's one of the most. What's this?
Life is predictably irrational.
Yeah, that goes along what I think. I guess that's books well aligned. But anyway, back to the Audrey Hepburn drawing. That's that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I don't know why. It's not symmetrical, it's not the person that they were trying to replicate. The figure's a lot more slender in the face than Audrey Hepburn, and I guess in a sense a bit more colder. But that is by far the most beautiful person I've ever seen. And it's not even real. I don't want to get into a conversation about, I don't know, objectifying women or like gender issues. Not because I don't care. Rather, it's more like I don't really want. I guess I don't really want to think about it right now. All of the complexities. I understand that that's beautiful, and for the point I'm trying to make, those arguments don't really need to be inserted. Anyway, so we'll skip those. But just know I do have an awareness for it, but not really right now. I don't really mind that right now, which I guess that might be problematic for some people. Anyway, moving on. So that got me thinking, what do we perceive as beautiful? Why is beauty beautiful? Why do we think of something as beautiful? And I think one of the big ones, especially I guess because I'm studying economics right now, perhaps, is scarcity. If everyone looked like that, we wouldn't think of that as beautiful. There are many facets of beauty. I think both of my watches, this one a vintage and this one resembling a vintage, but in a digital form, both analog and digital, are beautiful pieces. At the same time, I think my Osmo Action 4, which is on the cutting edge of technology, is also beautiful, but in a different sense. Then there's Audrey Hepburn. I think she's beautiful. I think the painting that's drawn is beautiful. And then I have this book, which is an art book about The Bird That Cries, which is, or The Bird That Drinks Tears, which is a Korean novel. And I think the art here is absolutely fabulous too, but I think the story that it embodies is beautiful. So if I have all these things that are beautiful, what makes them beautiful? I guess that's the big question. Um, and the one I wanted to reflect on today, one of the answers I think is scarcity. If it was easy, if it was common and accessible and easy, I think perhaps in a sense that would take away from the beauty. Mm, or perhaps not. Um, Perhaps beauty is made with story, with time, but I don't need to know the history or context of that drawing to look at it and see an incredibly beautiful person. So, in that sense, unlike my watches, which are beautiful in part due to their heritage and their vintage and their history and Casio's history, that drawing, unlike these two, don't need any context. Maybe the context that I'm male and I'm straight, um, but aside from that, I guess no context really needed, right? Uh, so I don't know what I want to get at right now. I'm just trying to organize my thoughts. Mm, but well, perhaps I wanted to talk about this just so I could share my enthusiasm, surprise, and adoration for beauty. It is very common for us to see things in life that are very beautiful. Mm, it may not be in the most direct sense, like this drawing, but these watches, this post box that I bought, they are all beautiful in their own right. And I think for me and for a lot of people too, it's not an absolute scale, but more about perception. It has to do with how you perceive the things around you that leads to beauty, in my opinion. Um, so, this watch itself is not inherently beautiful. It's just a digital watch with a leather strap. It's a technical piece. It is not does not have anything that says beauty on it. I'm not saying this subjectively. I'm just saying anything, even the most beautiful person or even the most handsome person or whatever, there is nothing that objectively makes them beautiful. Okay? We like to think of the public opinion as objective. It's not objective. It's just not subjective. It's just a collective subjective. It's not objective. There is no absolute standard. So, in that sense, then it becomes a problem about how we perceive this watch. For me, I perceive it as a vintage watch that uses analog elements and chrome brushing really well, and to portray time and to show it really well. And so in that context, I perceive it as beautiful. There's nothing inherent about it. It's just subjective, my perception of it. And when I see a movie or when I see, a scene in the forest or when I see my Osmo Action 4, those are all beautiful because I perceive the meaning behind them. For instance, when I see this camera, I'm not seeing a block of plastic. I'm seeing that there is, I know, not seeing, I know that there is immense technology that goes into making one of these. I know what can be created with these. I know what other people use this for and the content they create and how amazing it is. And so all of that combined makes my perception of the Osmo Action 4, it's beautiful because of how it looks, sure, but because of what it symbolizes, what it's capable of doing, its technology and its function, it becomes beautiful. And same thing for this post box, metal post box. There's nothing inherently beautiful about it. There's just perhaps it's me and my accumulation of experiences. But me seeing this post box lying on my desk with the correct lighting makes it look beautiful to me because of the experiences that I've had. So, in this sense, beauty is incredibly subjective. And in other words, the only reason we, as a society, consider something, someone, or some situation beautiful is because we share certain experiences that guide us toward reaching a similar perception. That's why when we have K pop star idols, some will say they are incredibly beautiful, others will say they are not, and yet others will just say they're meh. So, in the end, there's nothing inherently beautiful or ugly or wrong about any of them. They're just people same as us. The only difference is from the culture that we're from and from the society we're from and from the people that we're used to in this sense, used to seeing or marketed as beautiful, they fit that standard, whatever that may be. So, yeah, I guess beauty is learned, and yeah, not inherent. I guess that again, in a way, reinforces my perspective of how there's nothing really inherent about the world. There's just stuff. Um, yeah, there's really nothing inherent about it. It's just the world, you know. And we learn to love it in our own ways. And beauty is one way that we love the world. One way we appreciate it, at least. Anyway, yeah. So that's about it. That took a bit longer than I was hoping for, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I've got to study intermediate microecon. So bye bye. Have a nice day.